Well, hey there. Welcome to Camp Video Games. This is a podcast that reviews video games and their multimedia adaptations. This is part 3 in a discussion of Final Fantasy V. I am Junior Camp Counselor Sean, and this here is Junior Camp Counselor Josh.
Hello, campers. Welcome to Camp Video Games. As always, I've got wisdom for you about your experiences here at camp and in the woods. And actually, what I want to let you all know this week is if you spend enough time in the woods, just walking in circles, finding off squirrels, bears, whatever, you can become an expert at any artisanal craft that you choose.
Yeah, it only takes 10,000 hours to become a pro in something.
Or ability points.
Oh, yeah.
Either or.
Yeah. No, and you only need like 999 ability points.
Yeah. So if you just do that, you can be an expert at anything. You don't need to go actually practice, the art of being a samurai.
College is a scam.
It is. Absolutely.
Trade school, scam. On-site learning, scam.
No, it's all just battling woodland creatures.
Yes.
Is how you get good at any job, because we're talking about Final Fantasy V more. And I'll say up front, there's just something about Final Fantasy V. We said it before, and I'm saying it again. Man, it's hard to just maintain a mental map of the story beats of this game for some reason. Whereas 6, 7, even 8, I can probably walk you through most of it. This one, even though we just played it, I'm like, what happened next? What happened next? But we're going to try.
It's hard to maintain a regular map of this game because it keeps changing. Because there's two worlds. At one point they're separated, then they merge, and then something else happens. I don't.
And then parts of it keep. Yeah, well, so let's just keep going because we left off right before the final crystal of the first world is destroyed.
That's right. That's the Earth Crystal.
Yes.
The Earth Crystal.
Well, the Welcome to Earth Crystal. Starring Will Smith.
Ooh. Who would Will Smith play in Final Fantasy V?
Oh, man. That's a good question. There's not many characters outside the main party and Sid and Mid.
How about Guido the Turtle?
Guido the Turtle's pretty good. We'll hopefully meet him today. There's also the Dawn Warriors. I think he could be one of the Dawn Warriors at this point.
Zizat or Kelgar.
The most... Yeah, we'll talk about them more too. But anyway, where we're at now is the Earth Temple. It's the...
Wait, who would Carlton Banks play in Final Fantasy?
The guy who played Carlton Banks?
Yeah, I don't know his name.
He could be Sid.
Ooh, that's cute. Or Mid, because he's kind of a little guy.
But he's, again, these guys are old now. So we're making it today. I'm doing him as Sid. And anyway, the Ronkin Ruins, we talked about the dungeon of it last time, and we sort of saved the big story beat at the end, which is kind of wraps up. It's like your big moment that wraps up the first act of the game. It's as hard as it is to keep track of the game, it is very tightly packed into these 3 acts of the first world where your characters live, the second world, Gallif's world, where we're about to live,
then the merge,
and then the merging world.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job of sort of keeping it in tidy packages, and then there's a big moment of cutscenes that get you there. And in this case, you fight this dragon that revives itself at the end of the dungeon for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand why that happens in this battle.
It's fine.
It's just you just beat it once and then it comes back with no explanation that I recall. And I sort of had a little freak out. I was like, oh, did I do this wrong?
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, is there something I'm supposed to do? Because later in the game, you fight these statues that guard these 4 dungeons.
Yes.
And they have to be defeated in the same round of combat, or they keep reviving.
That's right.
So when that happened here, I was like, I think maybe pinging a vague memory of that I was like, what am I doing wrong here? And then you just kill it again and it's just done. I don't understand it, but if somebody does, feel free to comment. Why does this Archeoves dragon revive?
I'm going to guess it's just padding.
It's just,
There's a lot of padding in Final Fantasy V.
Or, oh my God, yeah, we're about to hit some mad patty. But let's blast through what happens after we kill this dragon. When we enter the crystal room.
That's where we meet Cryo for real this time.
Yes.
And it's not a hallucination brought on by the siren that is trying to lure whatever. So Kryl is Galif's granddaughter from Galif's actually, okay, sorry. Side note already. I heard okay, so Galif, or perhaps Galoof. The reason I like the pronunciation Galoof is because at the beginning of the game, he's pretty aloof because he's got amnesia.
Yeah.
So I think that's not actually why they might have chosen that pronunciation. And when we get to Final Fantasy in the Legend of the Crystals anime, OVA, miniseries, 2-parter, 4-part. When we get to that, maybe they'll say the name.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I'm excited to watch it. That'll be next episode.
I watched about 10 minutes of it. We'll get there. But yeah, this cutscene is where everything from the first world comes to a head. Kryl shows up in person to try to save the crystal, I guess. Lena and Ferris are reunited with their father just before he dies, protecting the crystal, I guess, because when it breaks, Golbez is immediately released from this seal he's been put in by the Dawn Warriors.
The Dawn Warriors, which are the OG Light Warriors from
30 years ago, something like that.
30 years ago, that's right. And Galif is one of the Dawn Warriors, along with Bartz's dad, Dorgan. And then we got Zizat and Kelgar.
Exactly.
And Kelgar's a werewolf.
There's a lot. It's just a pile of characters in this game that have no characterization to them to remember them by. Or like I'm reflecting on Final Fantasy V because as I want to do, I'm just watching other people's Final Fantasy VII content in spite of the fact that I've seen however many hundreds of hours of it that you could possibly see.
Thousands, Josh.
Of people talking about that game.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that game for about a dozen hours.
Yeah, and we might even link below to that series.
And like, I just can't help but notice how much of a better job of character development Final Fantasy VII does. I'm also reading On the Way to a Smile, the book you gave me, which is it fills in the gaps between Seven's ending and Advent Children.
That's right.
And just that world's characters are so much more fleshed out. And I'm thinking especially like Sephiroth and the reveals of Sephiroth, which we talked about at length, I'm sure. The way he is a slow drip of something that you're like legitimately like, wow, this is a bad dude.
Yeah.
Versus Golbez, where he's like,
you say Golbez. Do you mean X-Death?
See, like
X-Death. Okay, I was like, I'm missing something. Josh,
that's how immemorable these characters are in this game.
The main antagonist of Final Fantasy V
is
X-Death.
Okay,
he's a tree, obviously.
Yeah, and he just is. He shows up in this scene, and they're just like, the bad sorcerer is back. He's X-Death. He's evil. He has no motivation. Nobody has any motivation in this game.
That's true.
Like, nobody has...
The only thing that got Bartz into the story was a lingering sense of guilt for not helping this old man with amnesia and a little girl princess. He's like, I guess I'll do it.
The motivations throughout this game are so flimsy that I think that, like... I don't know. I think that explains some of the difficulty that I have, like hanging on to the story beats. But I will also reinforce, I love this game.
Yeah, still big time.
There's still a lot to love about this game.
It's the gameplay more than the story in this case.
Yeah, there's I don't know. I'm going to jump ahead if I start talking about what I really love about the gameplay.
So after the destruction of the Earth Crystal, King Tycoon, that's Lena and Ferris's father, he dies. X-Death is finally released from his seal.
Yeah.
And now he is gonna, he's basically trying to re-merge the two worlds that have been separated, and so he can then engulf it all into the void.
The void. His main motivation is to create the void.
We can get into X-Death's history and motivations a little later because we're going to learn that from Guido the Turtle.
Yeah.
But in any case, things aren't going well in the Ronka ruins, and they have to escape really quickly, but not before they collect the last round of
freebie jobs.
We got the samurai, which is my favorite class in this game, the dragoon, the dancer, which is my least favorite, and the chemist, which is technically one of the most powerful.
Yes. Well stated. So what do you like about samurai? Because
Zeninage.
Yes.
Zeninage is it's an attack that trades money for damage.
Yeah.
And when you get to end game, maybe that's the way you beat the final boss, because you didn't really strategize like Junior Camp Counselor Josh
I'm
did.
so excited to talk about my end game build.
Yes,
that's like the main thing I'm still excited about with this game.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Honestly, I'm excited to replay this again in like 5 years when I don't remember like anything about it.
I would get the pixel remaster and set those 4x, so that it's not a time sync.
Yeah.
And just have a blast, like seeing how like insane of a build you can put together that just wipes enemies immediately as soon as you enter a battle. That's what I did, and it was a blast.
I wanted to do some refresher on the story before we got back to camp here, and I watched a speed run of Final Fantasy V.
Nice.
But it was funny because it was for GDQ. And one of the requests for the
game's done quick for those who are not as nerdy, but
yeah. And one of the requests for the people playing it, they're like, "Don't talk about the story points." Like, and I was like, "Fuck,
it's so boring. Just talk about your build."
I think more because they just wanted people to not have spoilers for this game.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's still this game is built to be played quickly if you want to, because all the cutscenes, you can kind of just blast through them, and then it's just like boss fight, or there's a lot that is indicative of this game prioritizing gameplay over storytelling.
Yeah, which is so funny that me and my 9-year-old Chibis picked this up as her first Final Fantasy game. Completely by accident.
Yeah.
Because
it's happenstance.
I forget if I mentioned this when we started. It was like, literally, I was like, I've got to start playing this game that Sean and I are going to cover. You're welcome to stay on your iPad or play it with me, and I'm going to be streaming it. And just the idea of streaming locked her in, I was like, ooh, I get to talk to people on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, she's really enjoying the story.
Good. This might be
it
a
works.
good first Final Fantasy.
But the thing is, she has zero interest in engaging with the gameplay systems.
Besides the cute costumes.
Yeah, she likes seeing the costumes. We talked about that, but like I'm doing all the management of the characters. And my now, as we've been working on this series, officially my wife, it's like she sat with us a couple times. Like she actually tried playing once when I was like in a town and I needed to upgrade gear.
Oh no!
And I gave her the controller and I was like walking her through the shopping. And she was like, "This sucks."
You do this for fun?
And then I was like, "No, it becomes like a game to see like how quickly you can like upgrade your stuff, like and just rifle through the menus, and like there's some part of me that could be like an Excel spreadsheet jockey if it was just the right kind of dopamine hit.
Well, unfortunately, head camp counselor Michael Mayonnaise has not been paying taxes on the video games campgrounds here, so we might need your expertise to run some books and get the numbers a little bit more in our favor. Yeah,
as long as the books involve like equipping, dancing daggers and elven cloaks or whatever. But
honestly, if you just configured like QuickBooks to work with like a Super Nintendo controller, I might be more interested in doing
I've legitimately I do I do a lot of video editing both for work and for this and other video game and music related videos. But
give him a follow over. Carl's manager at YouTube.
I'm working on a nearly hour-long review of Secret of Mana right now that no one's going to watch, that I've spent dozens of hours on.
I'm not going to watch it. Like, wait, you picked the one multiplayer RPG and you just had to run through it solo.
I did, and it's all about playing it solo. Well, I'm going to talk about this for like 30 seconds, and then we'll get back to the game.
Hey man, talk about it for 30 minutes.
I'm starting a series. It's sort of like the games that made me series.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And Secret of Mana is like the first of my like life as a JRPG aficionado, fanatic, whatever you want to call it.
Same.
So that's why that's the one I'm doing right now. But there will be more popular games in that series that maybe will get a few more views. But
it was popular enough to get a remake.
Yeah, but like I was like, going on YouTube and I was like, I want to see other people's like sort of video essay reviews about Secret of Mana. There's like none. There's like a few like 10-minute like, hey, here's a great multiplayer action RPG type reviews, but none like that are like, let's really milk Secret of Mana and like enjoy every drop of it.
Was that 93 when that came out? Okay, so Final Fantasy V came out in 92, I believe.
Yeah,
in Japan.
Yeah, and I'm actually, it's worth discussing. Like, I'm sort of mentally comparing them a lot, and forgive me if we said this on past episode about this because we recorded 2 or 3 weeks ago. But like, I'm finding part of like what's not memorable about Final Fantasy V is how like similar the tile sets are from place to place. Like every town has like the same tile set, just arranged a little different. And I feel like that's hugely different in like Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger. Yeah, we did cover this. Yeah, very different. Like you got the nice like seasonally themed villages. Yeah. So we did. It's very, very, very unique comparatively. Yeah, and I think Final Fantasy VI did a good job moving on from this. Of like that first town you visit of Narsh, where the game starts, is like there's a vibe to that town. Then you go to the Castle Figaro. There's a vibe to that town. Like the first just plain old town you go to is South Figaro or whatever, and there's not many like that. Most places are like, ooh, this gives me a very distinct visual aesthetic vibe. Whereas this game, like, the fire, like, there's fire in the fire town. There's water, but right. Do you think that has to do with like Final Fantasy VI's like steampunk aesthetic and how that can help differentiate? The art direction's huge. I think it's they'd really pushed the technology of the Super Nintendo and knew what they could do after they'd made 3 of these for it. I guess I don't know, but that was it's so much more memorable in that regard. And speaking of immemorable beats of Final Fantasy V, the next thing you do after the Ronkin Ruin collapse and Exdeath, not Golbez, comes back. That's right. So, and Exdeath was released from the crystals were imprisoning him, and he's like Zod in that Superman movie where he's in this crystal that has been put up as a defense against Exdeath, who is he's just kind of like there's very little characterization. He's just a bad guy. He's just a bad dude. But he's not a guy, but we'll get to that later. And then we need to warp to Galif's world. Yes. Galif and Cryo leave, and they're like, you guys can't come with us because there's no coming back. That's right. Right. It's a one-way ticket, baby. Yeah. We've got these meteors that run on adamantite or something. We travel. Meteors are our spaceships. It's not necessarily that we're a different dimension. I don't know if they're traveling through space or time or dimension to get between worlds. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Because it's all fake. This is not real. Yeah. But it's a fantasy. The gang decides with Sid and Mid, if we scrape enough adamantite or whatever from each asteroid. It's like copper pipes. Yeah. Just like salvaging. And you go on this stupid salvaging mission where you have to visit every asteroid and you end up in a scuffle and probably all of them. I don't know. Where you got to scrape some resources from each asteroid so Sid and Mid can make a transporter of some kind for you. It's extremely stupid because we've already done this once to get into the dungeon we just did. That's right. And then you immediately go back to that same meteor to do the same thing again. Hold on. Are you accusing the good people of Final Fantasy V of perhaps just adding some padding? This part felt extremely padded. Retreading the same map for just kind of a same version of the different thing? It just felt like they thought, we just did this huge story beat and there's about to be another one when we transfer you to this other world. We got to put something in there. And it's extremely boring and tedious, even though like where I'm playing, my fights are sped up and I'm, can turn encounters off. It probably took 10 minutes, but it feels like such a drag to collect these, whatever. I assumed it was adamantite. I don't recall, but
the MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin. Yeah. You got to go get 4 MacGuffins.
Before later in the game where you have to get 4 different MacGuffins.
Yeah, a lot of MacGuffin collecting in this game. That it's just like your quest is to get the series of MacGuffin.
That's right.
Yeah, and you do get the Titan Summon spell, which is going to be one of your strongest spells for a long time because it's that Titan Earthquake whatever. I cannot think of many character enemies throughout Final Fantasy that straight up like absorb earth damage, but a flying enemy can dodge it. So anything that's on the ground, you can pretty much wipe it out with the Titan Summon from now on.
Because earth magic in Final Fantasy games in general seems to be a lot rarer than other elements. And I don't know what the motivation behind that. Like perhaps, you've played Final Fantasy 1 through 3 more recently than I have. Do you even get a quake spell in the first
you're taxing my memory here. I can't even remember the story of the game we just played.
That's true. Okay. I rescind. It seems like you don't get that. Like you're definitely getting fire and lightning and ice.
Yeah.
But I don't know if earth is as common in general in Final Fantasy games.
I mean, you definitely don't get I think 7 is the first one that introduced a like Quake 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
You definitely don't get that in the first 3. But again, correct me gently in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm not, pretending to be an encyclopedia here. But you get all 4 of the MacGuffins, and that helps them open a portal to Galif's world. And then the game starts getting fun. Like this is the moment in the game that I felt the challenge falls off and like the unique fun of my build starts coming into play a little more. Is around the time when we go to Galif's world. I felt like I'm struggling battle to battle a little bit less at that point. And then by the time we get to the third world, I'm just a god who's just destroying everything in sight.
Sure. And that's why we really play these games.
Yes.
Power fantasy.
Yeah. But anyway.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah. How do we get to that world? We everybody jumps in a pool of something.
And it seems like, the moment that Ferris, Lena, and Bartz get to Galif's world, they get captured by X-Death's bad boys.
Yeah. The portal moment that happens right before that
is looking good. Yeah.
It's fun. It's this big triumphant. The game's theme kicks in. And like that's like there's only a few sort of emotional beats for me in this game that hit. It was pretty much just this and the end of the game when the main theme kicks in, and the main theme of this game just screams like, we're going on an adventure with our friends. And that's about the depth of emotional, core of this game. And it hits me just enough. I'm like, yeah, we are going on an adventure. But
we are friends.
Yeah, as soon as we land, we decide to camp, and people start getting picked up by flying monsters and taken away to X-Death has a home base castle in this world.
Yeah, Castle X-Death.
Yeah.
And they get captured and taken to Castle X-Death, and they are rescued. This is where they get rescued by another werewolf that's looking for Galif, I think.
Oh God, I thought Galif rescued them.
Damn, dude. Let's watch and find out.
Just watch and find out. Oh, so Galif is the first big bridge moment, which we'll talk about. Which I love that it's just the big bridge.
Oh yeah, if you
covers half the world.
If you do a search for Final Fantasy V, people are going to be talking about the soundtrack to that bridge.
Yeah, just Nobuo Uematsu's first like sort of all out. I'm a prog rock head banger that they really let him do.
This would sound great live with like what's his band, the Black Mages.
Yeah,
I would like to see a band play this song live.
Yeah,
cool.
When we went to the Distant Worlds concert last month, they played it as a part of a battle medley. I think it started with Battle of the Big Bridge,
nice,
and then went into like a bunch of other battle themes.
Some people argue it's the best part about this game.
I would say it's like the third or fourth best part. What I loved about it this time is playing the Pixel remaster where the music's been rearranged. I think we discussed this. I'm pretty sure it's not live orchestra. I'm pretty sure it's like sort of a in studio, in the box. I'm not going to get too nerdy about how this works, but like it sounds good. And what I loved about it is as I was doing my battle through the big bridge and I'm listening to it, I noticed for whatever reason, the battle themes in this game are all like trumpet as holds the melody.
Yeah, sure.
Which is you just were humming the Final Fantasy VI battle theme.
I think it's this one too.
No, this one. This one is. They're close.
Whatever.
I know this one very well because Archibas has lyrics that every time we get in a battle, she sings it. Is gonna do it for the time. And then we name Bart's Balatro. So it goes Balatro, Lena Galiferis. She sings to like this guitar riff that's happening in the break of the melody. It's so funny.
Hey man, I'm glad someone's having fun here.
But anyway, the Battle of the Big Bridge. It's all the trumpet has all the melody. And what it sounds like to me is the band Streetlight Manifesto covering Battle of the Big Bridge. It's like the mix and the instrumental choices are a little different, but I'm like, I've seen that band live a bunch of times, and what they'll do is they'll take one of their songs and do a very sort of stretched out, like melodic, not like a vamp, not like a jam on it.
Is it like a dub version?
Not a dub either. It's just like a sort of like a longer melodic arrangement of like the horn parts that are, again, like symphonic is too big of a word like to describe it, but like they make a bigger arrangement, and it felt like one of those sort of jams. Like listening to Battle of the Big Bridge in this, and I was just like, yes, dude, I'm vibing out so hard to this right now, and I was just like letting it rip for like 15 minutes.
Shout out to all the ska nerds that know what he's talking about.
You know what? Like, I don't understand friends of ours who are like, and I can only think of one who, bless his heart, I love him, still like hardcore listens to like ska punk from like the 90s and early 2000s, and like that's the core of his musical identity. But Streetlight Manifesto holds up.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And like, I don't know, like, and sometimes people, I don't know, like when I hang out with friends from that era of life, and they're like, oh, let's put on NoFX. Isn't this great? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, when I was 20, it's like I sit around and listen to like smooth jazz every night now.
Aging gracefully.
Yeah, my taste evolved. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I always saw ska punk as like a stepping stone into understanding what it is I really liked about like Jamaican music. And then I was like, oh, I'm not listening to any like ska punk anymore. It's like, it's just gone straight to like roots dub music and like way more like, you know, the source of that very diluted genre at this point.
Yes, very much the same. If I'm gonna go back to Jamaican music, it's usually I want my King Tubbies and my what's his faces. Oh my God, why am I blanking? Lee Scratch Perry. Just put that on in the dark and let me vibe out.
You know, shout out Pachi Man, who's
Pachi Man is
the best modern classic reggae music I've ever heard.
Yeah,
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Battle of the Big Bridge theme. Anyway, Galif is the one who rescues you.
Yes, with the Windrake.
Yeah.
And he rescues them because he's a hero.
And that's what heroes do. Yeah, I mean, you run across the bridge, and what's most important about this is indeed the Battle of the Big Bridge theme, which is now in sort of Final Fantasy canon or lore is more Gilgamesh's theme.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like
Gilgamesh in this game being X-Death's like general or maybe his lieutenant.
Yes, but Gilgamesh, any fan of Final Fantasy knows he is a comedic relief character.
Yes.
This game establishes that.
Is this the first appearance of Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy?
I believe so.
Okay. Let us know in the comments.
He is, for whatever reason, they said, we're going to make this guy comic relief. And it, for me, works 95% of the time that he's on screen. There's something that makes sense for like this character, and like the sprite animations of the enemies throughout this game are like, especially like this is when they really like let them get hog wild about making them extremely ghoulish and like unsettling.
Yes.
If you really like look and think about this monster you're fighting.
I think that's thanks to Katase, who but well, I know I'm mixing up the developers here, but this is
the yeah, we talked about this before.
Oh, okay.
This game was like,
I don't want to repeat
the Sakaguchi and Katase like joint venture.
Yes,
and
but they had more space and resources to dedicate the sprite work to more accurately reflecting Yoshitaka Amano's like concept art.
Yeah,
which really works in this game. Like the sprite work is incredible. It's so cool.
Yeah, but there's something about that dichotomy of Gilgamesh's tough look and how silly he is.
Yes,
and they've consistently kept this up as recently as in Rebirth. Mild spoilers for Rebirth. Like the biggest side quest throughout that game has to do with chasing Gilgamesh all over the world. Oh. And we've now established this light canon in Final Fantasy that like all the worlds are tied together, and the thing that holds them together is that Gilgamesh travels between dimensions.
Yeah.
And it's the same Gilgamesh.
I have heard of that.
Going from game to game.
Right. And because we'll get to Gilgamesh's fate later in this episode. But yeah, that checks out.
And I'm sure he's in 14 and I just don't remember. But like the way they translate this version of Gilgamesh for the original Final Fantasy V to Rebirth is very, very well done.
Interesting.
He is this very unthreatening comic character who looks extremely big and threatening and strong.
Yes.
And that goes through this very long, I'd say it's probably 12 or so hours of work side quest until this final battle with him where it is like actually really difficult. I think I may have had to drop the difficulty to easy for that one. I don't remember, but
that's fun.
Yeah. And this is where he's introduced, and you have a few run-ins with him through this Battle of the Big Bridge sequence.
But Gilgamesh never fights to the death against your party. He always runs away when it starts to look like he's not going to immediately win, which I feel like this is somehow like reflective of something in Japanese like folklore, or like where it's like, okay, like during like the Shogun era, like only the Shogun wealthy class could like own weapons. And that mean if you were to translate that to like today, that would mean that like only like Bill Gates could have like swords.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you've got this like kind of like foppish like dandy who's like decked out in like samurai armor.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what I'm doing with all this stuff. Like that's my guess, is that they're like the kind of the character motivation behind Gilgamesh, because he's like he's a weapons like collector in this game,
which is also when you see his more fleshed out visual style in later games.
Big old sword.
He's got weapons galore coming off of like holsters on his back.
Now translate that to like an ice cosplayer here in America, where it's just like this big fat asshole who's wearing a tactical vest at Starbucks. He's like, write Donald Trump on the cup.
Yeah, like, and then like Fumps trips and drops his gun and shoots himself in the nuts.
Yeah.
Quit your job, losers. Anyway.
KYO.
KYS.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, enough things that'll get us thrown in gulags.
I'm angry. I'm really mad. I'm like, it's like, let's talk about Final Fantasy.
See, that's why we do this, so that we don't have to talk about the horrors of the world. But anyway, there's something to what you're saying. I don't recall the exact, the lore of Gilgamesh outside of Final Fantasy, but I think there is something to this, like a collector of weapons that aren't necessarily his own. And then we see it in this game later when one of the battles, he's like, I have the Grand Excalibur.
Yeah.
Which you're like, actually, no, I have that. And then it turns out
Excalibur.
It's the bad Excalibur. Or no, it's before you have that. Never mind.
Yeah,
but anyway.
That's one of the legendary weapons. You need to go
get that later.
One of the MacGuffins in order to get the other MacGuffin.
There's so much MacGuffin collecting. But after we defeat Gilgamesh, or he runs away rather, then we end up on, this is like one of the few portions of the game where you're on sort of rails through a collection of story beats. Finally, honestly, it's like a relief to not be doing chores back and forth to locations we've been to a bunch of times for a bit.
Is that because we're strictly on foot at this point?
Yes.
Because this game throws so many
modes of, we talked about that last time.
But now you're and it's like gatekeeping, where it's like you can only go to this next story point. And I do like that.
Yeah. And as much as I like it, it's like I don't even remember which one.
This is where we encounter the Moogles.
Comes next. Yeah.
And you find out that one of the characters is able to understand the Moogles through like telepathic means. I want to say it's Lena. That sounds like a Lena thing, but
it's weird. Like, Kryl definitely does.
Oh yeah. Maybe it's Kryl because it's her world.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sifting through footage to try to like remember what happens when I'm at this scene where first before the Moogle village, there's a scene with Golf and Bartz that I don't remember the significance of that I'm now pulling up on screen.
I think it's just that like Galuf is like, you came here like knowing that you don't have a way to get back. And it's kind of, I believe it's just a re-cementing of their bond as comrades in arms.
Yes.
Where Galuf is just like, man, like, did not expect to see you guys again. And here you are. And what's your plan? And Bartz is like, we do not have a plan.
Yeah.
And that's concurrent with the rest of this story, where it's like, what's your plan? And like later in the story, Xdeath is like, do you know what you're doing?
We're going to bounce from story beat to story beat.
Or like Xdeath straight up asks like Bartz, he's like, do you know what you're fighting for? And Bartz is like, no, but we don't like you.
Yeah. Another reason I think the story beats of this game are so memorable is like, no one has a motivation besides saving the world, for the most part. Like I really can't think like, because anything anybody's fighting for, or like the thing that launched them into the fight, is dead or dies.
Yeah.
Like Lena and Ferris, their father dies.
Yep.
Bartz, we find out his father was a Dawn Warrior who died.
Yes, that's Dorgan.
Galuf's about to die and be replaced by Kryl.
Hell yeah.
And nobody has like a motivation other than like, we just like living. We like being alive, and Xdeath doesn't. And that's about it.
So if we got the footage up here, you're about to. It looks like you're about to enter the castle that is like too difficult right now. That where you end up unlocking all of the legendary weapons.
Yeah, Castle Kush. Castle Kush. Yes, kings. Yeah, I ran in there and totally forgot what it was about, and I think got leveled and put on the ground by a dragon in there.
And that's funny because I saw you were talking to the townspeople in the last town you were just at, and one of them was like, "Don't go to the castle. Don't
go in there." And I was like, "Well, of course I'm going to go in there.
I'm going to because I don't."
Because I'm on an adventure, and if you tell me not to go somewhere, that means go there.
That's right.
Because I'm a fighter, and you're a dumb peasant.
Yeah, NPC energy.
So yeah, you could stop in there. It's just like I just don't remember the order of operations here. Let me tell you what I do remember.
Go for it.
My memory goes, you go here, like this castle, Kurz, whatever. Then the Moogle forest. You have to follow a Moogle through a bunch of overworld and a certain pattern, and then you come out and you go to the werewolf village.
Yes, to Quelb, where you talk with Kelger.
And at this point, we haven't been to Castle Ball yet.
We might have. Yeah, no, I think you do go to Castle Ball at some point as well. Dude, it's
like, what is this game?
it is fun when it's happening.
I love this game, but like, I just don't remember any of it. There's something you fall in before the Moogle village.
The Moogles take you to Castle Ball?
No. They help you out of, like, you fall in a cave at some point, and Kryl can communicate with the Moogles.
Is that where you fight the ant lions?
And that's way later.
Oh,
that's when you get back to the other world.
Cool. It all looks the same. I have to be very, very frank. When the game would tell me like you're in a different world and things are going, I was like, I can't tell the difference. I really don't I don't have that capacity to be like, wow, this is such a unique and diverse world that I can't wait to explore, because it's just like, what am I? Where am I? What's the name of the planet? Who am I?
I'll tell you, I love Final Fantasy V, but I mean this derogatorily, is its world and story are an RPG Maker ass game.
Yes. Oh shit. I love RPG Maker. I spent a lot of time with that.
I never made anything with it, but God, I loved playing with it.
For me, it like immediately turned into because I was in probably like 5th or 6th grade when I was playing RPG Maker, or whatever you call it, interacting with RPG Maker, and it just immediately turned into like a dating sim where I was like, the girls from my school thinks I'm handsome.
This is gonna be the girl I have a crush on, and she's gonna think I'm handsome and strong.
Oh, the mystical princess Brittany.
Okay, I'm getting some more order of operations together.
Yeah.
Kryl is able to communicate with the Moogles, sends the Windrake to the forest to take you to Castle Bell, where you learn Galif's been the king of one of the biggest kingdoms in this world this whole time.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, so I guess there's a king in our party. And then you just keep going.
Yes. So
and that's when you go to the werewolf town, I believe.
You've got 2 princesses, a king, and the son of a Dawn warrior at present.
Yeah, real Nepo baby energy throughout this party.
It's in the basement of Castle Ball where I did the majority of my grinding for this game, because that's where you fight the Objet d'Art. We talked about that in the last episode. I remember that.
Yeah. So I never did that in this playthrough.
You're right. Like if you're looking at the footage, like if you went down a tile, you'd be in the area to fight them.
So I went down there, and there's a door that says you need like a key or something. It's like, we can't get through here without a key.
That's way later.
And I said, yeah, I'll probably get a key later, so I'm going to come back here later. And then I never did. So do you remember why this basement exists?
That is later, where you're going to get one of the optional summons. I don't remember which one.
Okay.
But there is a part where you go back there after all those great story beats that we remember happened. So, okay, Josh, I want to just talk. Let's step away from the story for a second, because we're really nailing it. Let's talk about Final Fantasy / JRPGs as like a concept right now, because I think we could extrapolate a little bit of our personal life philosophies out of why we like to play these types of games.
I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I'm not being facetious.
I know you do. That's why I have a video game podcast with you.
Oh wait, yes, that's why we're here right now. Anyway, go on.
Okay, grinding is like that. Like I can't think of any video games prior to like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy that like really, in my lifetime, that like encouraged grinding to this degree, where you have a physical representation of your strength of character and will.
Yes.
And a means of improving it through, you could call it practice. Like fighting is just practice, I guess.
Yeah.
But like psychologically, like what does that tell you about like why we play these games?
Funny you ask. I talk about this in my Secret of Mana essay, which might be published alongside this episode, depending on how much editing I can get done in the next couple of weeks. For me, so Secret of Mana was the first game I played that did that.
Yeah.
I talk about this too. It's like, because I had seen my friend's older brother playing Final Fantasy 2 at the time, 4.
AKA 4.
And like, I was probably 8, 9, and I'm like, that's so much information.
Yeah.
But Secret of Mana, because it was an action-based game, it was corollary enough to Zelda.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, swinging swords, I can understand this. But the numbers were going up. And in Secret of Mana, not only do the numbers go up higher numerically, but they get physically larger as you hit harder. So like when you're hitting in the hundreds, the actual sprite of the number coming out is physically bigger.
Nice.
And that's
nice
a very
touch.
visceral feel, to the game. So that hooked me into this idea of growing stronger. And the way that correlates, I think, for me personally, is especially like I'm learning as having a 9-year-old, like what we think of as like no time at all feels like forever to them. So it's like at that time of my life, I'm like stuck in this endless lifelong feeling of like, I'm this wimpy little kid who gets bullied at school all the time. And then when you could do this condensed version of progress, of seeing something grow stronger that you had some control over, it feels empowering,
Yeah.
Which is like, honestly, like, and then like the people who take that too far and get addicted, that's like the problem with video games.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big part of it for me. And it's still, when we talk about like my end game build for this game and how like I didn't spend a lot of time on it because I had it all sped up, but like I had a lot of fun, like nitpicking it and stuff. Yeah. What's your answer to this question?
What's the question?
Like
what's the question?
Why JRPGs were able to sort of like sink in to us at that age. And you just kind of kicked it off with the idea of like numbers going up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even talk about like story, art, music.
No.
But like,
story has very little to do with it.
Yeah. For me, story is most of it, which is why like I think this one didn't click for me as much as 6, 7. And now I like it more than I used to. But yeah.
I would have to say that what appealed to me was the idea of self-improvement through simple means. I come from a line of very lazy people who don't like read or like pay attention to like important world events or anything like that. And I saw these types of video games as giving me a way to empower myself that was not too demanding. It's like if I just keep fighting goblins over and over again and that makes me stronger, then hey, I'm stronger no matter what. Like you can't take that away from me at that point.
Yeah, and like the thing you need if you want to actually implement this in your life in a useful way, like the thing you need to take away from this experience of a video game is like, oh, and if I apply that to something else I'm interested in, like getting better at an instrument, like I don't know, reading more difficult books, getting, stronger physically. It's like, it's the same thing. The dopamine hit is not as immediate, but that same practice will yield the same results. Yeah. This is just a condensed version of it. that, again, it's like can be unhealthy for people if they go, that's good enough. I'm just going to be addicted to these.
Sure.
And let my dopamine be hacked by it.
Yeah. How do you eat Bahamut?
How do you?
One bite at a time, baby. It's a reward, a growth reward for repetition.
Yeah. And that's been the fascinating thing about like revisiting it with a current 9-year-old is like, how much patience do they have? Because their video games, the reward systems have been exponentially sped up.
Oh, it's been weaponized.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was just like watching her play Roblox over her shoulder last night. And like people upload these like platformer games, which is like conceptually cool. I wish they didn't like look and play like crap, where it's like it's kind of like a tower climbing thing that just the platforming gets harder and harder. And there's more like troll spots that you have to like learn and then remember your next attempt. But it was like, she just fired it up and dabbled with this one for like 3 minutes. And every time I looked over her shoulder, it was doing a pop-up asking her to buy Roblox to remove some piece of friction. and like, I was just like looking over her shoulder. I was like, that should be illegal. and she was like, what do you mean? I'm not doing anything. And I was like, oh no, not you. What they're doing should be illegal.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Like in-game purchases.
Yeah. Like I watched her play this for 3 minutes, and 4 or 5 times it popped up asking her to spend money.
You know what? Okay, so I have a paid subscription to Duolingo, and I'm learning Spanish right now, and that is a perfect like analog to JRPGs because it gives you like it expects like 5 to 10 minutes of your time every day, and in that time you do maybe like 3 to 5 exercises, and it's just chipping away, but what it's doing is building a foundation of understanding. And I like have become, well, I won't say muy proficionado, but I don't even know if that's right because I'm not at that point. But I'm like, I right now I know how to like say like I have a cat. But it's just little chips away at making a full beautiful statue.
Yeah, and funnily enough, it has like the same limitations that, you know, a story-driven, character-driven RPG as a friendship simulator has of like, no, these people aren't your real friends. You know, Duolingo, it's like, no, it's not real conversation with a native Spanish speaker. There's like limitations to both models, you know? Yeah.
But it's establishing a fundamental understanding of the vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, it's a good first step.
Yeah. Whereas like, I think this is a better application like Final Fantasy VII. It's like, why do we love these characters? Oh, because they're human. They have wants, they have needs, they have flaws, they have this, that. We can really relate to them, but that only takes you so far. And then you have to go interact with real humans and learn how to relate with their flaws.
Para-digital social relationship.
There's a parasociality to it for a kid who doesn't have social media influencers in their brain. You know? But anyways, we got our Final Fantasy V adventure.
What's that?
After we learned Galuf's a king, we just keep setting off. What is our main quest at this point? Are we trying to get back to Exdeath's castle?
So
you got any notes on that?
My notes are insane, dude. Let's see. Well, next, I guess we're going to meet Kelger in Quelb.
Yes.
And Kelger is a werewolf who, alongside Galuf and Zizat
is what I call him. Zizat.
Is a Dawn
Slavo
warrior.
Zizat.
I think he's also a king because there's a world with many realms, and so there's like everybody's royalty. Because if you're a peasant, you're not interesting, apparently.
Yeah, that's the general vibe of why characters are important throughout the first 5 Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
There's still a few kings in 6, but we move away from that.
We move away from royalty as like indicative of being like a good person.
I'm gonna pause these spoilers because the Chibis just came home and I got the footage playing of past where we're at. What? Do you want to say something, Chibis?
Hello.
We'll get her thoughts on the game in the final episode.
While I got you, who's your favorite character in Final Fantasy V?
Lena, because I get to talk in a British accent.
Why is she British?
I just chose to talk like that since she's a princess.
Good answer.
Yeah, so we've been doing like a full stage reading of the script in our playthrough, which is great. It's fun because it's like almost. I mean, we read a lot of these like graphic novels. She does, but it's like it's kind of the same thing.
Oh, sure.
Except it's honestly like the vocabulary is. I think said this before. It's squarely in the right spot.
Now that you mention it, I think like JRPGs like really helped me like gain a lot more like confidence in like reading comprehension because it is like if you look at like the dialogue tiles, it is a lot like a comic book.
Yeah. Oh wait, Mom wants to comment on it as well.
It's worth it to throw in that she got like they do this retest for giftedness every year in school now. And this year she's been identified as gifted in ELA, which I'm sure is solely due to her read through.
Oh yeah,
this
absolutely.
Piece.
Yeah. I mean, we do like, I feel like every conversation has like one or two new vocab words for that like reading level. And it's just about right. But anyway, when we meet Kelgor, he and Bart's, I think this is like one of the moments where we try to establish who Bart's is.
Yeah. Kelgor wants
like
to like test Bart's as like he's like you're not good enough to be a Dawn warrior or a light warrior, and he starts attacking Bart's like and like in like a fair like a gentleman's quarrel.
Yeah.
Or like a test duel or whatever you call that.
This is very Dragon Ball shonen anime moment.
Bart's uses the same technique that his father used, and that's how Kelgor recognizes Bart's as Dorgan's son.
Yeah, this is like one of the more interesting story beats.
I haven't seen that technique since the planet Namek.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so like once you've seen a Dragon Ball and then you see this, you go, oh, I get this is what makes a Japanese role-playing game.
Yeah.
There's story beats like this versus I don't really know how to describe like story in Western RPGs, but they don't have that. Usually it's like that sort of one-to-one of like, I get how this is like a very shonen anime thing.
Yeah.
Which is very like Kurosawa, which is very Japanese folklore.
Sure.
It's like we just have our own ways of telling stories that are good for their own reasons. But for whatever reason, this is the style that hooked me as a kid versus the Western style. Just didn't stick with me quite the same. But Kelgor also gives the backstory of the Dawn Warriors. So now our team finds like the whole thing painted in at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean's worried about the cursor on screen. I'll fix that. That's gonna really cost us viewers.
Oh no,
they're gonna get an hour and go. Oh, they left the cursor on the video. Actually, it might not even record it. There's a setting that turns.
I'm gonna stop worrying about it.
Yeah,
but they are the ones responsible for sealing X death in the crystals, which then resulted in the splitting of the worlds.
Yeah, which it seems like only 30 years.
30 years.
People who remember that.
Really, like we're still talking about 9/11.
It's like this is a pretty like memorable moment if you lived through the world splitting into two dimensions.
Yeah. Well, NPC character, or
NPC brain.
Yeah.
I can only say one thing over and over again. I can't hold more information than that. I'm only programmed to hold like 32 bits of information.
Yeah. So I think the significant part is that after X death was sealed, Dorgan, Bart's father, decided to stay on that planet to safeguard. He wanted to stay on that planet as a guardian, whereas Zizat and Kelgor and Galuf went back to their planet.
Yeah, and this is how we get Bart's.
Wait.
It's
whatever.
So confusing.
You know what? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the Chibis and I are going to now replay this again because we're past the point she and I have made it to.
Nice.
And I can sort of try to cement it a little better as we do a live read through. But noticed in this playthrough, we can, I think, miss a lot of Bartz's backstory.
Yeah. If you don't
I
go
never
to his,
went to his hometown.
oh, you didn't go?
I was like,
It's like
towards the end game, and I was like, aren't I supposed to like go to his hometown? And I was like digging through guides. I don't know where I missed it, but eventually it got wiped off the map, and I go, oh, I guess I can't go there anymore.
that's right. Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of his town. It's like Licks or Link.
Nix, Licks, Locks.
Nix?
It's got a weird 3-letter name.
It's cute.
Yeah.
But so they go to meet Kelger, and Kelger's now like overexerted himself.
Yeah, he's
now
stuck in
better.
bed the rest of the
And
game.
He's gonna die eventually. Oops.
He's gonna die of, I guess, kind of like I pushed myself too hard in my old age. In
Now
my
I
last
have
fight.
an ulcer.
In my last fight, to prove that this young man was my friend's son, and yeah, hangs on a while in bed and is gonna eventually pass away.
Then it's off to Drakenvale for some reason.
This is another. We have to heal another Windrake, I think.
Oh, with the dragon grass.
This is another beat.
second time we have to do this.
It's another beat that's like, didn't we do this already?
Yeah.
And it's like the tile setting of the mountain is the same. It's bizarre. It's a very bizarre beat in the game, which again I think feeds this idea of why it's kind of difficult to remember the beats of the story. But in this mountain, we can capture Gollum. Did you do this? The Gollum summon. Golem,
Yes.
however you want to say it.
Gollum is a Tolkien invention.
No, golems are an old Jewish monster.
I'm saying Gollum.
Oh, Golem. Golem. I get what you're saying.
It's
Yes.
Golem.
So a golem.
I don't want to lose more viewers from mispronunciation.
Gollum is that little guy in Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
A golem is the Jewish rock monster.
Kaiju, I guess.
I don't get like where like Dybbuk's and golems come from in Jewish lore, because
a rabbi built the golem to protect the Jewish people.
Is this in the Torah?
I didn't read it.
I mean, like, because like we didn't read all of it in Catholic school, but like we had to read the big stories of like Adam and Eve and all those early ones where like God's like, go kill your son. Don't actually do it. Like all those stories.
Oh, Abraham.
Yeah. But like we didn't get into like sort of these sort of like mystic lore with like, oh, and there's monsters that protect the people.
I think it's basically it's just like if you it's kind of like the proverb of the double-edged sword, where it's like if you create a monster who is indestructible, careful what you do with it. Like it's no matter what, it's not going to end well.
On that note, we're bringing back testing nuclear weapons. We decided for some reason we're just going to start firing them off. Just why not? But
I didn't know about that until yesterday. My wife told me, like, as we were just like driving home after having dinner with my parents, she was like, "Oh, did you hear about the nuclear stuff?" I was like, "Oh, you know what? Let's talk about
Don't tell me
anything else right now."
But I brought up Golem because this is
it's a defensive summon.
This is one of those like use at the beginning of every boss fight
Every
from now on
time,
summons.
yes.
It will absorb all of a certain amount of physical damage for each character.
It's not quite as useful as the Blue Mage ability Big Guard.
Is that in this game? I didn't get it.
Yeah. I didn't get it this playthrough, but my first time around, I did do it. Like I was like way more interested in like a Blue Mage completion type of run. But Big Guard's pretty nice.
Oh, I might look that up and see if I can get it for our remaining playthrough because it could. I got by mostly with Hestaga, and that was kind of all I needed. Once I had that, it was like begin every battle with Hestaga and Golem.
Yeah.
You're pretty much fine after that point. So that was kind of like when I settled into like, okay, I'm never in trouble anymore.
So you get the Draken so that you can then intercept Zizat, who I think is doing a raid on Castle X Death.
Which, again, it's like we've done this beat already within the last couple hours.
Right.
But they are going in through the water, I guess. is their thing.
He's got like an armada outside one end, but it's actually a ruse or what's like a decoy.
Yeah.
Where the real attacking force is doing something else with the submarine, I think.
Yeah, no. I do remember this part. So you go and meet the brigade, and Zizet's there, and
He's a different king.
this is another king, not Kelgor, not Galuf, not Bart's
Tycoon.
dad, not King Tycoon.
Yeah, whatever. We're doing great.
There's a lot of kings in this world. They get along very well for how many of them are on such a small amount of landmass. It's Zizet's plan is to take you and him down through an entrance they found under the water on a submarine, go up one of these defensive towers that we didn't mention before. The reason we can't assault Exdeath's tower is it's being protected by these protection towers.
Yeah, he's got like force field generators.
Yes. So you do a tower climb to destroy one of them so that you can go and assault Castle Exdeath proper, I guess.
Sure.
I don't remember much about that other than this is
another
our next
Gilgamesh
fight with Gilgamesh
on the boat, but that's like
before we
again,
go
it's
in?
like it's a ruse. Like that's not where the actual attacking force is. So Gilgamesh is kind of like the butt of a joke where he's like, "I'll protect Castle Exdeath," and then it's like they're like, "We weren't actually attacking the castle. It's okay. You just kind of wasted your time."
But yeah, this is one of, again, I think this helps explain why it's hard to keep track of this game's story. This is one of multiple tower climb dungeons
Yeah,
that
there's a
are
lot
to
of
come,
that.
where it's literally like, we already did this in the Waltz Tower.
That's right.
Have we done it before? It doesn't matter, but like this happens 5 or 6 times throughout this game where the dungeon is just a straight up kind of just whirling up a staircase in a tiny map dungeon to a boss on top. This is the second or third time we've done this. And there's not really much going on in the dungeon otherwise.
The next note I have is that's where you then, after these events, you have the submarine.
Yeah, actually, I do want to talk about the boss of this dungeon a little bit, the Atomos, because I think this is the first time it's introduced, and this becomes in multiple Final Fantasies lore. It's kind of a big deal.
Okay, cool. Hit me.
The Atomos is like a monster that is a portal to another dimension.
Yeah.
It's a part of Final Fantasy 9, but not a big story part.
Yeah.
But it is like it destroys an entire town kind of thing. But it's huge in Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
It's like they use these Atomos things to explain how all these different dimensions and universes are connected, and why characters from other games are like assaulting your universe.
Interesting.
So there's like a whole quest line where Golbez and the 4 fiends from Final Fantasy 4 are assaulting the world of Final Fantasy 14 through these Atomos gates.
And the portal is its mouth.
And its mouth is the portal.
Throat goat.
And a couple times you have to destroy an Atomos gate and then find a way through it so that you could stop the source on the other side.
Yeah.
So they really like this one weird monster design. Where its gimmick in this game is just that it will do these one-hit KO attacks to a character and then start sucking them in to permanently remove them from the fight.
That's so cool.
That's its sort of gimmick, and it doesn't have much to do else in this game.
Yeah,
so it's fun to see how much like lore and like sort of case use, whatever they've pulled out of it in now other games.
So this is like how Final Fantasy can justify like a multiverse.
Kind of, yeah. It's very like light multiverse. Like they don't say like, no, canonically the world of Final Fantasy 4 is also in 14. They just use the characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not like you go, oh, that's this place from that. They do have dungeons like that. It's a weird game because
It's a weird series, to be frank.
Yeah, like 14, it's both fan service and its own. I think of it as more like a series of novels. Like I'd say Game of Thrones, but I don't know how many books are in that and how many he eventually plans. But it's like each expansion of 14 is like a sequel, an expansion of like another novel in that world.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that. I wish Final Fantasy was all like that.
I mean, play 14.
Yeah.
It can be tedious if you're not loving the story, and then there's also parts like between each one where they have to release short like 2-hour content beats to keep people subscribed between releases.
Sure.
But then when you have to play through those to get up to the current story, and they're like really like you can feel how much they're stretching in some of those.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh my God, just talk to this guy, just get me to the dungeon. Oh my God. The one between the last two was fine, was decent. That's where the whole Golbez of the Four Fiends thing happened. But like most of them are like, oh my God, why am I still playing this? And then you finally get to like, yes, I'm in Shadowbringers. I'm finally playing this story. And it like pays off. Because it's like, 10 hours of setup that just feels like it's going nowhere between each one. But
I'm glad that the Atomos like lore implications are pretty simple, because imagine how hard of a time we would be having with it if it was any more difficult, given how simple most of this is. And we're just like, what?
But again, like, go listen to our Final Fantasy VII series. We're good at analyzing a story. It just needs to be there with some depth for us to like sink our teeth into it. And like, I mean, and I love, this one is great for its intended audience.
Yeah.
I think, it's like me and the 9-year-old Chibis are having a blast with it. It's just enough for the right age group. But anyway, do we get to storm Castle Exdeath after this thing collapses? Do you remember what the next part is?
I'm ready to just like blast through this story.
Yeah. We blow this thing up. Zizat dies because it crumbles on top of it. He has to be in the basement for some reason. We get away on the Windrake. I don't know.
And then now you have Zizat's submarine, where you then go to Guido's cave.
Oh, yeah.
And Guido is a turtle sage who is responsible for overseeing Exdeath in his sealed form. So Guido is like kind of the yin to Exdeath's yang, where it's like Guido is the representation of like knowledge and like peace and like, like white magic, whereas Exdeath is malice and violence and black magic.
Yeah, he also has this very condescending, dry sense of humor.
Yes. Very Master Roshi style.
I was going to say Master Roshi, minus the horniness.
Yeah. Although at one point Guido has to be like, no, I don't live in the sewers and eat pizza.
Yeah, like he has a few jokes like that, and there's a few where like he gets borderline meta, where he's like, I can't believe I have to explain this out loud to you, you idiots. It's so simple.
You've been playing this game for 30 hours already. What do you not?
He doesn't go that meta, but he does do a sort of like, why do I have to explain this out loud? Like, you've lived this, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like the player doesn't know whatever he says. I forget the exact bit, but like there's a little bit of that with Guido. I don't remember what he tells you to do. But I remember talking to him.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. The next major plot point is the demise of Galef.
Yes. Is that at the end of Exdeath's castle?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Galef went to the top on his own, I believe. Or, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Galef gets killed by Exdeath. While trying to defend Kryl.
No, we have the forest to.
Oh, that gets burned.
There's a.
Is this the right forest?
Oh yes. Okay. The submarine takes us to a completely mountain locked town with a lake that's connected to the ocean.
Yeah.
And that connects us to a forest where there's a MacGuffin that protects the crystals of this world are all there.
So X-Death essentially tricks the Warriors of Light into destroying all of the elemental guardians. They think that they're destroying X-Death's minions, but it turns out that they basically just did. It's like what Ganondorf does to Link in Ocarina of Time, where he's like, "You've collected all the stones for me. Thank you. Good job." Haha. So villain.
Yeah, and then when they get to the heart of the forest and get like the MacGuffin that does that, the boss fight is like basically you're like fighting the crystals of this world unwittingly. Like they become sentient and sort of attack you. They each have like an element that they absorb and like one they're weak to. And when you destroy them, X-Death is like, haha, yeah. And that's when he does the thing you were just describing.
Yeah.
So there's much rabble rousing and fighting again in this cut scene. Very, very like a lot of stage play blocking to sell what's going on here. That Cryo comes and tries to save everybody. Galif, because his granddaughter's being threatened, summons that last beat of strength to give them a shot, and that's what knocks him out. And it's very funny. They do the thing you would assume they would always do in these games when somebody quote unquote dies.
Yes.
They go like,
use cure, use
Phoenix
down,
revive, and it's like it just doesn't work.
Yes.
There's some other level of life and soul in the character that like can be snuffed out, that can't be saved with curative items.
In my playthrough, because I don't know if we mentioned this time around, but I'm playing the Game Boy Advance version, which a lot of people say was the first good translation of this, because after playing the PS1 anthology version, brutal. Like, yeah, just the time to access the menus. This is a menu heavy game, and that made it unplayable. But after Galif basically goes one-on-one with X-Death, the team tries Kiraga, then Raise, then a Phoenix Down, and then an Elixir.
Oh, you wrote it all down. That's
I did, because I was like that Elixir.
Did you like go in your inventory? Those better be there still.
Literally, yes. I was like, those are way too rare. Like, you better not do that, because really this game does not have a W item. What is it called?
The glitch. Yeah.
What is that? What is
Final Fantasy VII has the W item glitch where you can max out everything.
Yeah. Anyway,
this is also the point in the game. Well, I'll say first, like, Galif is immediately replaced with Cryo with all of his powers, which is fun.
I have thoughts.
Oh, okay. Go off.
Okay. Final Fantasy VII, big game, big story point.
Big spoiler
is that when Aerith dies,
something happens to her.
When Aerith is killed by Sephiroth,
there are little ears a room away that don't know these
earmuffs. No, but when Aerith dies, you lose her. There is, like, to the point where it's like, in my second playthrough of that game, I was like, I'm not going to bother leveling this chick up at all, because I was like, what good is that going to be for me in disc 2 and 3?
Yeah,
like, and when with Cryo, when Galif dies, he imparts all of his abilities and experience right to her. It's just like copy paste. Now she's as good as him. And then, like, that took, like, as like a person who's playing this game for the gameplay and not for the story, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, it literally does not matter to me that Galif is dead, because I feel nothing for this 16-bit sprite. Yeah, because my heart is closed. And like, when I was just like, okay.
Versus, I'll say, like, I talked last time that even in our playthrough, we were like, Sildra, our dragon.
That's different. That's
like,
different.
I guess animals are a little different.
Way different. Yeah. I didn't really cry about like a natural disaster until I realized that, like, animals also died in it.
Yeah.
Like last year, like when like Asheville flooded, I was like, oh, those poor people, like, that sucks, but like, whatever. And then I was just like, wait, dogs?
Yeah.
Cats? Like, oh no. Like, that's where it's like, I don't like people, but I really love animals.
Yeah.
I like you. You're okay.
In this game, yeah, we get this immediate replacement that kills any emotional attachment you might have had. And what's funny is in spite of what I'm about to say, this is still my favorite game of this year. In Clair Obscur Expedition 33, there's a similar moment to this where you can tell they were inspired by the Aerith thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's really well done in the game. Like the cutscene is brilliant. Like you're very emotionally like hooked on the characters. Everything is done right, except then a character comes in that we have even less relationship with than we do with Kryl. Like he's just been this like guy peeking, kind of from the background. Like we don't even know his name yet. He shows up because I'm replacing this guy. I'm your lead character now.
Oh.
And like he has different abilities, but he's still like about the same strength. They even look kind of the same.
Nice.
And you just go like, oh, okay, we're not like, and like you still like quote unquote grieve the character through like the next 2 or 3 hours of the plot, but like you're like, oh, okay, like you don't feel that hole like you were talking about, where it's like, oh no, this gap's never getting replaced, And then it's a really easy way to miss that emotional beat that you're going for of like taking something from the character. You immediately give it right back to them.
Right.
This one, like you don't even get control of your characters before. Like it's like, no, here's Kryl. You're good.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I know you've been grinding. And then it's on to Castle X Death, and you realize that X Death has set up this illusion spell on his castle, because you first climb it and it's looking just like a normal evil guy's castle made out of like stone and wood and things you build castles out of. And it's not until what dispels the illusion? It's Ghost Galef and Kelger are able to destroy the illusion magic on Castle X Death. And it's basically like this like H.R. Giger like inspired.
It's like worse than that.
It's more like H.P. Lovecraft.
I think Lovecraftian.
This thing is just like one giant like pulsating flesh mound.
Like it, because I was thinking of it again in the context of this game being very much for the sort of like tween, early teen demographic.
Yeah,
that like it is a right level of spooky fun, sure, for that age range. But then like in thinking about like, oh my God, these walls are made of bones and cool, like monster flesh. Like imagining what this place would look like in a remake is like, oh, that would be horrifying.
Yeah, have you heard this talk of there being a Final Fantasy VI remake?
If you've heard that rumor, it's not true. But like, I guess people like want to rumor that all of them are getting remade. And I think the 7-way
with the remaster of Tactics this year, people are like looking more fondly back at the Final Fantasy in the 1990s. 6 especially just being like, people still call it the best video game they've ever played in their life, and like, it's one of those things where it's like, I like the disambiguation of sprite work. I've always been like a proponent of like, no, like let there be a simplified version. Not everything needs to be photorealistic. Not everything needs to be 4K HD. Like, I don't need that. I like interpreting art to some degree.
The work of imagination of something that's been abstracted is like, it's a good muscle to exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I think of it as like, it's almost like there's like degrees of exercising that muscle of like, there's reading fiction on like the high difficulty end that like not enough of us engage with. I don't really read much fiction. Partially
that's all I read. I don't even read nonfiction anymore.
Yeah.
I just read like, I like my stories.
For part of it for me is like, I read enough like nonfiction stuff for work, and like I'm just burnt out on reading. And part of it is like, I don't know if video games have fried the part of my brain that's able to read fiction, because I'm one of those people. It's like I can't visualize. Like you tell me visualize something, it's just black. Like I when I read fiction, I can follow a story, but I don't have this vivid visual picture.
Sure.
And I think of it as like, is this a chicken or egg problem thing? Is it because I was so spoiled by the visual abstraction of video games where it was easier to fill in blanks because I had some visual? Or is it just like, no, some people's brains are just born that way and it's never going to change, you know?
I always like to eat meals with chicken and egg in it. I just think it's like kind of like mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny.
But like, I've wondered that about myself. Is it like, because I played too many video games as a child, is that why I struggle with reading fiction and I don't have that visual imagination? But
I don't know. That's an interesting, talk to your therapist about that. So in Castle X Death, Gilgamesh hides himself in a treasure chest. So you think you're about to get a little
another
treat.
very hilarious Gilgamesh decision.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the treat.
Yeah.
It's a trick or treat in this Halloween castle. And then you fight X Death in man, we haven't really talked about like what X Death looks like.
Yeah.
But this is like a pretty cool looking generic villain. Just like
Oh yeah, his design is sick.
Very big armor. Like such a big sprite. Like he looks awesome. Like I really like how X Death looks. I like that like plate armor.
I love thinking about enemies like this and like what are they like? And they're just like these big muscly guys with like hundreds of pounds of armor on. It's like, what's your lounge time like? Like, do you ever just put on a pair of like sweatpants and hang out and, just read scrolls?
I guess. Yeah.
Or you just always just marching around in hundreds of pounds of armor. It's like, maybe that's why you're so bad all the time.
Yeah.
You're just not comfortable.
It's like Lord Humongous and the Road Warrior. He's just like this like faceless evil villain who just wears like a Jason Voorhees hockey mask and a loincloth.
Yeah.
It's like, is that his going out clothes or is that just his like everyday wear?
I mean, you think about even just like his helmet. He can't even eat with that thing on, let alone like see where he's going.
Well, let's get into the what, because I believe we might have skipped because I think the reason that the gang goes to talk to Guido the Turtle is to learn about who X Death is.
Oh, yeah.
And what X Death is. So here's a chance to talk about X Death, the origins.
Okay.
Thousands of years ago, there was a warlock named Enuo.
Yes.
And Enuo created an elemental force known as the Void. Basically, he created a black hole that is capable of like being wielded. And alongside that, there is a world tree and all of these other trees. And this is why I brought up Secret of Mana earlier, because this is like a kind of like the opposite of the Mana tree, where like X Death is a tree whose task was to absorb the spirits of defeated evil monsters. Think like in Ghostbusters, they catch the ghosts in that cool little box, and then they put it into like that furnace looking thing. That's X Death. He's the trash receptacle of all these defeated monsters' souls. And after enough time, this tree became sentient.
Yeah.
And
it's collected a lot of angry souls.
Yes. And did you ever read The Berenstain Bears and the Spooky Old Tree?
Okay, so I've read some fiction. I think I don't know the Berenstain Bears, the Spooky Old Tree. Of course, I looked at that cutout of the tree and how you could go in the back and then slide out the front.
I want that.
Ooh, I looked at that for hours.
Yeah. That's X Death. He's the spooky old tree, and eventually he had the power to manifest in human form, and he is basically continuing the work of the evil warlock Enuo. Which is funny because it's like one letter away from being ennui.
Yeah,
which is like
which is kind of
and like
like that's sort of the, if there is any motivator to X Death, it is this sort of like ennui of why exist? Just return everything to nothing.
Yeah, and like that's what X Death wants.
Yeah,
he wants to return the world into one merged world that is then able to be absorbed by the Void.
Yeah,
because X Death has experienced nothing but malice and hatred through this amalgamation of souls that have kind of collected into building his worldview.
Yeah.
So you could say that like he is like literally the yang to Guido's yin, because like Guido the turtle is just like, he's like kind of like a hermetic monk that's like not living at the top of a mountain, but instead in an underwater cave. And so he's like he's one with the world, with the natural world. And he does not like get in the way of the natural order things. Whereas like Exdeath is a response to the natural order of things.
Yes.
And after the gang tries to fight Exdeath, they get their butts whooped and the world has merged.
Yes. So they defeat Exdeath, and this is probably where we'll stop, and then we'll do the rest next time. Because that was basically as poorly as we remembered the order of operations, that was basically the second act of the game, is Galif's world. And then this thought of we've defeated Exdeath, but the worlds have merged, and that's odd. And then we go back to Castle Tycoon, and we'll probably pick up there, like, because there's this whole beat with like, oh, Ferris now has to pretend to be a princess, and we're gonna. There's a few more weird beats after this.
I just want to yada yada it so bad.
Yeah. We'll wrap here. We'll find a balance between meticulously tearing it piece by piece and yada yadaing it next time, and that'll probably be the end of the game at that point. Because yes, I'm mostly excited to talk about like, what was it like when I was at the end of the game and deciding how I wanted to build my characters. That's the part that's still fun for me. So we'll do our best, and like, there's a lot of yada yada-able stuff coming up because this last act of the game is almost purely a MacGuffin quest.
Yes.
Which you can even like, I think
you don't need to get the legendary weapons.
You can just
don't need to
skip
get the
the final battle after a certain moment that we'll get to.
We could just talk about it real quick and be like, hey, let you just kill the guy. Like, I don't want to do another episode.
Okay, yeah, fine.
I feel like we really struggled.
We're not rushed today. Yeah, I just want to eat lunch at a certain point. Is all. So, there's this whole thing like Lena and Ferris. They have to stay and be the princesses.
Yes, and the Chancellor, who's been like leading the place instead of King Tycoon. I've just been conditioned to not trust chancellors, so I expected him to betray them at some point. He doesn't.
I don't even know what a chancellor does other than betray kings.
I don't know. Yeah, right. That's about it. But I mean, the gist is that like you now have like access to, you can warp back to the other world because there's these little warp points in the ocean that develop as Exdeath is sucking planets into the void, or cities into the void, and you have a chance to go back, maybe if you missed like some of the early summons, if you need to complete them.
Oh, I did not know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, again, it's like, who cares? But it's all leading up to the fact that like the team just needs to get strong enough to challenge Exdeath. Yeah. And the way that they do that is through these sealed tomes that that Mid and his scholars have been kind of exhuming. And those, when you get 4 of them, every sealed tome you get, you go back to that super hard castle.
Yeah. The first one is required, right? The first one is the desert pyramid.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty, because at that point you still don't have Lena back in the party.
Yeah. And every sealed tome you get 3 legendary weapons. So yeah, you could just choose the top 3 that you want, because there's
which I definitely did. I got the best like melee and then like white mage, black mage weapons right away.
Yes. Oh, Castle Kuza is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because the crystals are no longer active, the sands of that what was the crawling desert or whatever it's called, the shifting sands.
Yeah, it stops.
It's now just chilled out and it's great. And then there's just like a series of more optional bosses that you can fight. I didn't bother with the super bosses.
Oh, definitely not. I do just briefly want to talk about the like how Lena comes back to the party.
Oh yeah.
She's possessed by one of Exdeath's monsters, and then
Melusine.
Yes.
Yeah, the naked lady.
The naked lady monster.
Yeah.
But Lena's basically like character drive throughout is like her care for Windrakes over humanity. Like
she let her mom die so that she could protect the Windrake, because they could have saved her dying mother with the essence
tongue of the Windrake.
Jesus, that's weird.
She goes. There's a moment. I forget if it's right before this fight, but
It's an optional moment.
It's got,
You can choose.
there's so much you can
choose.
miss.
Well, in the sense, sorry to cut you off, but like you can choose to make Lena's decision of to either let the mom live or to let the dragon live.
Yeah, and either way, it lets the mom die.
Yeah, of course.
Lena goes, I can't do this to my pet dragon, which like who could? It's like to very viscerally cut out the tongue of like your best friend
Dude, I
to
know.
save your mom. Is
I love my parents. Well, some of them. If they were like your cat or your parents, I'd be like, oh.
But like even like just that decision from a distance, I could choose my parents. But like being the one who has to do the very gross thing,
cut the tongue out of Buddy.
It's like I couldn't do that. But like, and that's basically like Lena's sort of background. But again, it's like it doesn't really inform her motivation in the story.
No, not really.
It's just like here's the thing that happened to her.
Most of her characterization is that she's concerned for her dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I can't relate.
Which is over at this point in the game.
Another cool mentionable part is the forked tower, where you split your team into two. You're going to have one team that can do physical attacks and one team that can do magic attacks. And that allows you to, beat that dungeon. I think that's where you get the spells. That's where you get Holy and Flare.
Yeah, which were not core parts of my build.
No.
My build was all about what has the fastest animation for the highest damage.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about after we hit on everything
We're just
else.
about to get there.
Yeah.
The only other parts that I really liked about the end game section, the final act, is just kind of like rounding out my arsenal, rounding out my spells, and rounding out my summons. Because no summons are obligatory in this game. You don't need to you could just play this game with everybody as a freelancer.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to learn anything and you can still beat this game. But summons were a big part of my earlier builds. And as I went on, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to save up money and just use Zeninage as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, there's also what the Phantom Town shows
the Phantom
up.
Village is super cool. It's like between dimensions.
Yeah. At a certain point, I figure it might be after you do that first dungeon for the tablets, but like X-Death goes on a tear and just disappears several towns off the map, which it left me wondering is this like a memory, like sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a way to like conserve memory usage in the game of like, oh, we don't have to load the information for these towns at this part of the game because there's just not enough sort of like RAM in the cartridge or something, that for some reason he just arbitrarily wipes like 4 or 5 towns off the map so you can't go there.
Yeah. I think he just needed to up the stakes and like give the character something more immediate to fight for.
But then a new one, this Phantom Town between rifts, shows up and you can get a lot of high level items and magic there. Is this where you get Heistaga? No, but it's somewhere at this point in the game is when I got Heistaga, and that's when I'm like, I'm just mowing stuff down. That's the most important spell in the game.
Because that casts haste on every member of the team
for not a lot.
And if you have if your person with the time mage ability, if you equip them with the haste shoes, it's over. Like they can immediately cast it, and then everyone is completely overpowered.
Yeah.
There is the gang decides they're strong enough now to go and to face X-Death in the interdimensional rift, and that takes you through this surreal labyrinth.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you do the Phoenix Tower?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, the Phoenix Tower is when I went. My team became completely feral at this point.
Yes,
obscenely powerful because. I both, had 4x experience and plenty of elixirs to spare. And this is where they put the magic pots in Final Fantasy V. So
I know them from Final Fantasy VII.
Every magic pot that you fight gives you 100 ability points if you feed it an elixir. I was doing that, but I was getting 400 ability points.
Because you have the times 4
Is it 100 or is it 100? I don't remember. Either way, like at this point, I maxed out everything I wanted to max out on my characters, and I was able to sort of like finalize my build, as it were. Because this is one of the last things I did before the interdimensional rift that is the final dungeon. And I was pretty squarely set. I don't know. Is there any other points of interest before we just talk about like, how'd you blast through X Death's final dungeon?
Oh, I struggled.
Really?
I was not as powerful as my fellow camp counselor here.
Which again, I cheated. So to be fair, I had a mixture. I mean, I don't have my builds written down, but everybody was powerful enough that I put them into the freelancer category so that I could then take advantage. When you have a freelancer, they gain all of the maximum stats from their mastered classes. So you could just you're going to be wild. And then you also have extra ability slot to be able to really customize your character and take advantage of this job system, which is the only part of this game that I truly, truly enjoyed, which is just messing around with the job system. But through a collection of most of my damage coming from the samurai ability Zeninage. Man, so many YouTubers don't understand Japanese pronunciation. Not that I truly do, but they're like Zeninage. Zeninage.
No, I'm like, buddy, it's okay. It's like it's specifically Japanese because that's a samurai. But
I only know enough to know like they don't have all the in-betweens of the 5 vowels that we have. Each vowel has a single pronunciation, and that's the only pronunciation for it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Correct me again. But like that's helped me kind of understand these pronunciations a lot better.
I really hope I'm wrong and someone corrects me because I would love to be humbled right now. I feel top of the world right now.
Yeah.
You go through this like weird labyrinth, and
it's just a mishmash of styles of like landscape.
Kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
Wait, most of the story is kind of forgettable, as proven in the last 3 episodes. Twintania was this is Twintania you're about to fight. I actually had some trouble with Twintania because I was not overpowered. But Josh, tell me about your super powerful character.
God, I had so much fun with
Tell me how you beat this game.
So Twintania is maybe the only one I struggled with a little bit. But so I went through the final dungeon, encounters off, only fighting bosses. Most of them did not get an attack off before I killed them.
Yeah.
Because what I did is I have Lena and Bart's are maxed out on Berserker.
Okay.
So yeah,
which has
Twintania
the highest physical attack capabilities.
Yeah. And then they had dual wield was their second. So they were freelancers, Berserker and dual wield,
which you get from the ninja skill.
And then they have all the best weapons. I think I had 3 ribbons at this point.
Woo! Which will counteract any status.
Yeah,
effect.
no status ailments. And then Kryle's job was just to cast Haste Daga on them.
Yeah.
So I basically just turned them into nuclear bombs.
Yep.
And what I love so much about this is I loved the end game of Expedition 33 because if you like this style of gameplay, you would love that game.
Clair Obscura?
Yeah, Clair Obscura Expedition 33. It's this gone wild.
Yeah.
Like the way you can do builds. There's one character, this character Mael, that you can basically you just people joke like the build you do is you turn her into a nuclear bomb, where like you stack all these different like buffs and like attributes on her, and then she has this one attack that like if you build it right, she gets 2 turns at the beginning of every battle and then can immediately cast this attack that does like 2 million damage.
Cool.
While the rest of your characters are still struggling to do like 50 to 100k damage per round.
Gosh, yeah.
It's just like this is like felt similar to that, and it was like very rewarding to like think like, okay, what's the build that will get me this like max DPS?
Sorry, did you mention before for Lena and Bart's who are your main damage dealers? Are they so they've got dual wield, they have their berserkers, and And then also the rapid fire skill. Did you do that for them?
I did that for like the middle, like third of the game.
Because that allows you to do 4 consecutive hits.
But I think the damage it's if it's not cut in half, it's only like 2/3 damage.
Oh, really?
Of the power of your weapon or whatever.
I didn't know about that.
Doing some mental math, I just found out it seemed like Berserker dual wield, like second for second, was doing more quite literal DPS.
Nice.
Whereas like when you have rapid fire and dual wield, you have to wait for 8 attacks that are doing about the same damage as just dual wield with Berserker.
Cool.
So I just found out it just seems faster, and I can keep them alive because Berserker takes away your ability to command them.
That's right.
And that's the trade-off you get, is they're hitting harder, but you don't get to decide anything they do. They can't use items. They can't cast spells.
Right. But you don't need
attack.
them to necessarily if you've got 2 other players who are, cognizant.
Where I suffered is I couldn't do the super bosses, I forget the mech's called, and Shinryu. Omega and Shinryu are the 2 super bosses in the final dungeon. They were absorbing one of the physical damages from one of my weapons from like those 12 weapons that you collect in the final act.
Yeah.
So it didn't work against them. I got wiped by them because one of Lena and Bart's attacks were healing them every time they attacked.
Yeah.
And
probably
I had no
from an
control
elemental blade.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to Google the right build for this. Like, I'm sure I could do it, and I just don't care.
I don't remember because again, I'm playing the Game Boy Advance version, and I have never played the Super Nintendo original. Like, because like that's one of the first like fan translations that like really made waves across like the emulation scene back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this in previous episodes as well, but I don't remember if those super bosses are in the original.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't.
Because I know that the Final Fantasy V Advance release not only included extra bosses, but also included extra jobs. That's like, there's a necromancer, there's a cannoneer.
I don't remember the necromancer. I do remember the cannoneer thing.
But in any case,
I played that
didn't bother with the super bosses. It seems like they're really there for people who just need to like pad their time and like build up towards something to keep this game going.
They need
to keep the good times rolling.
Yeah, I like super bosses when it's a literal. It's a challenge of more than Googling the right build. There's actually some technique involved, like some sort of like reaction,
your Ruby
hand-eye
weapon,
coordination.
your Emerald weapon.
Well, I'm thinking like I just beat Silk Song last night.
Oh, good.
I made a big deal.
I know you've been playing a lot of that.
I made everybody. I was like, everybody, it's over. I finally did it. I told my wife in the Chivas. I was like, I've completed Silk Song. I've gotten the monkey off my back. But that game, it's purely you doing it. You cannot just go grind and make the last boss easy.
Yeah.
You have to do it. Like, I like that kind of super boss challenge. And like Elden Ring has the same thing, Expedition 33, even like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because it's an action based battle system. But like these ones where it's like, if you just grind long enough and Google the right build, you'll do it, you know, which is like, I enjoyed that in 7, like, because it is such a weird niche build you have to think about and find. But this is like the same thing. It's just like, I'm just not as invested in Final Fantasy V enough to want to do that.
For sure.
Know?
I do look forward to playing through this again. We're talking about like, we already finished the talk, but like, I look forward to playing it again because I know that in the community, the Final Fantasy community, especially with 5, there's this like challenge called a four job fiesta where,
like you play it like one where you only have one job for each person.
I think that's what it is. Like everybody sticks with one job and then you play through the entire way, and it kind of like adds a replay value to it. Mm-hmm. But so when the gang goes to fight X-Death in the interdimensional rift, they first they deal with a enemy. Well, they have to fight Gilgamesh. This is where Gilgamesh gets his redemption in the game, where he recognizes. Well, no, so he fails to defeat the team, and then X-Death banishes him to the interdimensional rift.
Yeah, and he's like, this place isn't chill.
Yeah,
I'm
and
on the wrong side.
Yeah, and he's like, I
This
think
place stinks.
I think I need to not be in ice anymore.
Yeah.
And
he helps you
fight
fight
necrophobe.
this Frieza looking enemy.
Yes, 100% Frieza. That is 100%.
He's even doing
Frieza.
like the Frieza stance, but it's this big, lengthy comic relief thing with Gilgamesh going one by one through your party during the fight and being like, Ferris, I love you. You should fall in love sometime. Why don't you like hang on, everybody?
It's like, where's this coming from, Gilgamesh?
And it's just like he's the definition of chewing the scenery.
Yes, yeah. Oh, good way. Yeah.
As he goes down, like just making his death take 10 minutes longer than it should. It's just a hair too long to work for me.
Yeah.
Like conceptually, I love it, but in practice, I was like, no, I'm really ready to go.
Yes. Get to the point, Gilgamesh. Just get killed by necrophobe or sucked.
And the funny thing is,
he
he physically, his sprite turns and he's on your side. And because I had berserkers, they just kept beating the crap out of him, but he didn't care. He's just taking it in the back. It's fun, but like I said, it felt a little long for me.
Yeah. After necrophobe is destroyed, X-Death sucks more towns into the void, and Bart's dad and the rest of the OG Dawn warriors, they assist in holding off the power of the void so that the light warriors can then do battle with X-Death, who is now reverted into his original his spooky old tree form.
Yeah.
And then Brother Bear and Sister Bear crawl into its mouth, and then they find the little slide that takes them down. And
the fun thing about this tree form X-Death, revisiting it now, is I don't remember when. So like, as I've said, like Final Fantasy 14 does like a lot of fan service, like battle type stuff, and there's certain parts of that game where like I don't pay attention to like how we got to where we're going. Like there's a lot of like the hard boss fights. It's like a lot of talking to explain why we put this fight here, and it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
It's not part of the main story. So I like kind of just click through it because I'm like, I just want to challenge myself at this boss.
Bump those numbers.
I just want to do this. You know, they have like words for like, oh, the tier 3, whatever, boss of whatever. And one of them is this tree monster on this like interdimensional rift plane.
Yeah.
And until I replayed it this time through, I was like, oh, this was a reference to a Final Fantasy game. I was like, oh,
yeah. X-Death shows up.
Fight.
He also shows up in Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced as one of the summons.
Cool.
Except he's been renamed as Exodus. But it's the same X-Death character.
Yeah. And then I also like, I don't know if it's the sprite work of the pixel remaster that like his tree form that you fight him in, it like makes sense to me now. Before I thought he was like this weird moon cloud monster with the body on top.
No, but
now
it's going into the background,
attached to the bottom of like this like crystal path we were following.
Yeah.
And it's been expanded, and we're sort of up fighting him flying, I guess. It's very cool.
It's
really cool.
It took me a second to figure out what they were trying to show me on the screen, and then when I figured it out, as you did, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, this is a sick final boss.
Yeah,
fight.
he looks great. And the first form of X-Death, easy peasy, not a problem.
I'm watching him like, did he get in? I think he got one round of attacks.
That's so
funny.
On me. And Neo X-Death, which is kind of like, it's like the same logic as Castle X-Death, where it starts off as this like kind of based in reality
sure
thing, and then it
I've seen this thing walking down the street,
and then it morphs into this like body horror David
Cronenbergian
like,
for sure,
like nightmare. And
I love the way they have it that you're just flying through space to give it this sense of speed is so cool.
It's really cool.
Like that it's just charging at you and you're somehow just hanging with it is really cool.
It's, again, to go back to Dragon Ball, It's like when they're just in the air for no reason besides to fight in the air because you don't have to draw the ground.
But I think Cronenberg is a good reference because you get these weird warped monsters as final bosses through basically 4 through 6.
Okay.
There's Zeromus, I think, at 4. Then there's this one. Then there's the Kefka Tower thing.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most Cronenbergian, like, no, this is just a pile of monsters glued together.
Which is exactly right. I mean, because that's what X-Death is. He is an amalgamation of spirits of monsters that has been condensed into this hateful singular form that is still, representative of all of its sums.
Yeah. And then it's cool that, like, the Kefka battle builds on that too, where it's like, oh, he's the 3 statues of whatever, and then him on top that you fight in 4 tiers, and they're all glued together like this monstrosity. It's just like, God, peak monster design. I love it so much. It's very good stuff.
In the Game Boy Advance version, Neo X-Death says, "The laws of the universe mean nothing." And I know in other translations, they give him a different little speech pattern, but that's a fun kind of nihilistic, evil guy thing to say.
Yeah, this is the period of games where it's just what's the enemy's motivation? He's a nihilist.
Yeah,
nothing happened to him. He's just a nihilist. And Sephiroth is the first time we get a final boss in a Final Fantasy that it's like, oh no, there's a reason he's like this.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn about it. Because even Kefka, much better character than X-Death, but you never learn why he's a freak. He's just a freak.
Right on. Man, there's nothing more satisfying than that last hit on a super boss. Yeah. And then they just start dissolving into little pixels. Feels good, man.
Yeah.
And then we get so I this didn't happen with me, but if any of your party members die in the final battle with Neo X-Death, they are dead at the end of the game.
Oh, do you not get their ending?
They don't get an ending. They get sucked into the void, and the rest of the story happens without them.
Wild.
Yes. But luckily in both of our playthroughs, everyone did great.
Everyone's alive and fine.
Let's see. Neo X-Death, rest in peace, buddy. The void still persists, but it's now without the control of a malicious, force. And everybody gets returned to the now merged world.
Mm-hmm.
And you get like a year, like a year later.
Yeah, it's I love it. I love this style of ending where like the call of this game's story was just a general call to adventure the whole time, that it ends with that too, of like,
our adventure's not over just because we killed the bad guy.
Yeah, and like this, they're like, it's like Kryle's like, I'm all alone because Grandpa's gone and our adventure's over, and she revisits like that world tree thing to pay respects, and everybody's like, well, we can still be friends. Let's just go on more adventures.
Right. We don't need to just be at war to have
We're not just war buddies.
Yeah. It's really sweet.
Which is funny. Like, that is a sort of genre of story of like, how do I engage back in civilian world after the bonds I forged in war, Yeah. And this game just is like, by just continuing to be buddies and going on adventures. It's very cute. And that's the end.
That's Final Fantasy V, buddy. I'm glad we're done talking about it, because we really tried, campers. And it's more just the fact that, like, we're just degenerates that we can't memorize all these little facts, but it's okay.
I love to stretch a video game story and find meaning in the lore, and go listen to our Final Fantasy VII series. It's not that I like can't or I'm not interested. It's just different games inspire it to different levels.
Very much so.
You can find people doing that with Final Fantasy V on YouTube. I've watched a few of them. No judgment. I feel like they're stretching a little. Just appreciate it for what it is. It's great gameplay, and great story for a certain window age-wise, demographically, you don't have to pretend it means something to a 30-something.
Yes. Okay,
You don't have to force that.
as a quick aside, like the way I feel about Final Fantasy is very similar to the way that I feel about Gundam, where I have a friend who is deep into the lore of Gundam, and he cares very much about that entire world. And me, a simple mind, I love seeing big robots fight each other.
Yeah.
and to relate with Final Fantasy, like, sure, like you can extrapolate all you want out of this story, but at the end of the day, I like seeing the numbers get bigger.
Yeah.
I like that my character is stronger due to my hard work. And that's it's sometimes
this game's peak for that in Final Fantasy.
It can be that simple. You can just be like, I love making those numbers go up. And it's like, do you remember that calculator game, Drug Dealer, Drug Lord, or whatever? That's all it was. It was just like make the get higher.
You should try
numbers.
Cookie Clicker.
Cookie Clicker.
Oh, just go click the cookie.
I'll click a cookie.
That game is nuts. I'm going to quickly describe it. It's like you go to this website and it just says click the cookie.
Okay.
And then you click it, a number goes up. And then like and then it like builds exponentially. Like the more you click, then you could start buying things to help you click the cookie. And then you can get more tools to help you click the cookie faster and faster. And the number just keeps exponentially going up with these different tools. Eventually it's like, you've got factories upon factories printing cookies. It's
funny.
Really,
I'll check it out.
It's a very addictive sort of like idle at work game.
Well, maybe I'll do an hour-long video essay on the importance of
the deep lore of Cookie Clicker.
Final Cookie Clicker Advanced Dissidia X3.
Yeah. Back to like what you're saying about like I'm a simple like I'm not. I love story. I love lore. I love extrapolating life lessons. It's just like I also like I've played enough, I've read enough, I've seen enough to know when it's there and when it's not.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And like I'm sorry, Final Fantasy V, it's not there beyond the intended demographic. And because all these games are intended for usually like they moved the age range up for like after this game from like 6 or 7 onwards. It is more teen to early 20s.
Yeah.
But like this one just does not have a lot of meat on the bone past the like intended demographic, where it is like, wow, what a fun adventure, where like, look how far we came. I see that and I love that. But like, I don't glean a lot from it the way I did with 7 still, you know?
Yes. Yeah, and to close my thought. So I was talking to my buddy who is super duper deep into Gundam. And I was like, dude, like, honestly, like, cause I was like asking him questions about, Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta, which is the second series. Sure. And I was just like, honest, like, I was like, wait, what's that story beat? And he was like, dude, just rewatch it. And I was like, no. I just really like that the giant robots fight. Like, that's cool to me. Yeah. He's like, you realize that Gundam is not about giant fighting robots, right? And I was like, brother, go to the Gundam store. Tell me what people are buying and what they're building. They are not building models, life-size models of Amuro. Yeah. Like, it's about the robots.
It's about the robots.
And in Final Fantasy V's case, it's about making the numbers go higher.
Yeah, for sure.
I love those numbers.
I'm with you.
Gotta get them higher.
But I think it's fair to say, like, part of why Gundam didn't click for me is because Gundam Wing's the first one that came to the US.
Yes.
And that one, like, I rewatched it in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, that one is like, wow, this story is, like, there's a lot to chew on here. There's a lot going on beyond the robot battles. And then when I tried other Gundam series, I went, oh, it's just about the fighting robots. It's not, it doesn't have all these, like, politics and these relationships and, you know, like, the way Gundam Wing did. So it didn't hook for me beyond that first series.
Yeah. Mobile Suit Gundam and Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta, which are the chronologically first 2 series of them, 10% of the show is fighting robots. 90% is politics and drama. Mm-hmm. I just kind of zone out during those parts. Because I'm just like, when do I get to hear that?
I don't know. Maybe Wing just had cooler robots.
I think I'm just an idiot. But campers... that's Final Fantasy V. Come on back next week to Camp Video Games, where we're going to talk about Final Fantasy and the Legend of the Crystals, the sequel anime to Final Fantasy V that for some reason got an English translation.
I'll take it, man.
Before we got Final Fantasy V, the game, in the English-speaking world.
I didn't even think about that.
So
That's really funny.
join us next time when we talk through that. And you know what? I think we're going to be able to comprehend the story of that a lot better than this game.
Yeah.
Because it's a crisp 2 hours, and
Perfect.
it's a different medium that we don't have to worry about the numbers going up.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
That was fun, but I need some lunch.
Thanks for humoring me. Yeah, go eat. All right, bye, campers.
There's a patreon.com/camper video games if you want to do that. If you made it this far, you probably like it. You should pay us.
Hey, dude, if you pay us, we'll memorize the plots better.
That's another excuse we have. Not enough people are paying that it makes me be like, I need to do my due diligence. Yeah. I need to keep meticulous notes. No, I'm just having a good time with our 9-year-old and then having a good time with you talking about it.
With later. A 39-year-old. Camp video game.
All right. Peace out.
If you'd like to write to us, send a message to campvideogames@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram @campvideogames. If you want to become a real happy camper, you can support Camp Video Games on Patreon. For $5 a month, you'll be granted access to even more discussions about movie-based video games, game-based movies, full-length commentaries, playthroughs, and more. Whether you sign up or not, we're glad to have you here at Camp Video Games.